Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. I arrived home early, my business trip cut short by unforeseen circumstances. The taxi dropped me off beneath the muted glow of the street lamp, and I found the front door slightly ajar, a flickering suspicion igniting as I pushed it open. The house was unusually silent, the air thick with the scent of lavender and something else, tension, perhaps. I dropped my suitcase in the hallway. The faint murmur of voices drifted from upstairs, guiding me like a siren's call. Each step on the staircase seemed to echo too loudly in the quiet, and I paused at the top, my hand hovering over the banister. Laughter, muffled through the walls of our bedroom, pricked at my nerves. Tentatively, I approached the door, heart pounding with each thud against the wooden floor. The voices grew clearer, a man's laugh intertwined with a woman's giggle. I recognized her laughter, Sarah's, but it was lighter, unburdened, a sound I hadn't heard in years. With a slow, cautious movement, I pushed the door open. The scene before me paused like a grotesque tableau. There, amidst the tangled sheets of our bed, was Sarah, her bare skin glowing in the afternoon light that slipped through the curtains. Beside her, an unfamiliar man, naked, his back to me, muscles tensing as he turned to face the intrusion. "Jack." Sarah's voice cracked the silence, her eyes wide, her mouth agape. "Seems I've come home at just the right time," I said, the coldness in my voice belying the turmoil inside me. Sarah scrambled for the sheet, covering herself as she stammered out, it's not what it looks like." "Really?" I scoffed, taking in the man who now stood, grabbing his clothes in a hurried attempt to cover his dignity. He looked familiar, with those deep-set eyes and a crooked smile that had faded into confusion and fear. "Because it looks exactly like what it is." "Jack, please let me explain," Sarah began, her voice trembling. The man finally spoke, his voice a nervous baritone. "Jack, I'm Tom. We went to high school together." High school," I cut him off, my mind racing as pieces fell into place. Tom, the boy who had always hovered around Sarah, the one who had never quite moved on. "I didn't know she was married to you, man. I swear, if I..." "Save it," I said sharply. I turned back to Sarah, my heart hardening with each ragged breath she took. "How long, Sarah?" Her eyes filled with tears, her usual composure shattered. "I didn't plan for this. Tom came into town, and we just started talking about old times." "Old times," I repeated, mockery lacing my tone. "And you decided to relive them, is that it?" "It's not like that. I thought I loved you," she whispered, the confession stinging more than any lie. "And him?" I asked, nodding toward Tom, who was now partially dressed, his expression one of regret and shame. "I've always loved him, Jack. Since high school. But he never knew. I thought he didn't feel the same. And finding out he did felt like what? A free pass." My voice was bitter, each word etched with betrayal. "We never meant to hurt you," Tom interjected, his voice low. "Yet here we are," I said, glancing between them, the broken trust and shattered promises hanging palpable in the air. "You've made your choice, Sarah." With that, I turned and walked out of the room, the sounds of her sobbing following me down the stairs. The door clicked shut behind me with a finality that echoed in my chest. I knew then what I had to do. Revenge, cold and calculated, formed a plan in my mind. This wasn't just the end of our marriage, it was the beginning of her downfall. The evening air chills my skin as I step out of the cab, the neon lights of the city casting long shadows on the pavement. My mind reels, replaying the betrayal, but it's time to set the stage for my retaliation. I dial a number, my fingers steady although every part of me wants to shake apart. "Hey, Mike, it's Jack. We need to talk. Can you meet me at O'Malley's?" 20 minutes later, I'm sitting across from Mike, an old friend from college who now works in private investigations. The pub is dimly lit, the clink of glasses and the murmur of conversations creating a semblance of normalcy I no longer feel. "Jack, you look like hell," Mike observes, his brow furrowed with concern. "I feel worse," I admit, taking a sip of my drink. "I need your help, Mike." He leans in, his expression turning serious. "Anything, man. What's going on?" I glance around, ensuring no prying ears are nearby, before I spill the truth of Sarah's infidelity. Mike listens, his face hardening with every word. "So, what do you want to do?" he asks after a long pause. "I want to know everything. Who he is, where he's staying, every detail. And I want to know what she's up to when I'm not around," I state, my voice low but firm. "You got it. I'll start digging tonight. Anything else?" "Yeah. Follow them. I want photos, conversations, the works. If she's going to ruin our marriage, I want her to face the consequences," I say, the last word tasting bitter on my tongue. Mike nods, understanding the assignment without judgment. "I'll keep you posted." As I leave the pub, my phone buzzes. It's Sarah, likely wondering where I've gone. I ignore the call, my resolve hardening. The next day, I dive back into work, the hum of the office a stark contrast to the chaos of my personal life. My colleague, Linda, notices my distracted demeanor. "Jack, are you okay? You seem off," she probes gently, her eyes kind. "Just dealing with some personal stuff," I reply, trying to offer her a reassuring smile. "If you need anything, I'm here," she says, touching my arm lightly before returning to her desk. By the time evening rolls around, Mike sends a text. "Got something. Meet me in an hour." We convene in a secluded corner of a different bar, a folder between us. Mike slides it across the table. Inside are photos and detailed reports. Tom's face. Sarah laughing with him at a cafe. My stomach churns. They've been careful, but not careful enough. "Looks like they've met up a few times since he's been in town," Mike explains. "And the conversations?" I ask, dreading the answer. "Mostly them reminiscing about the past. But there's definitely more. They're planning to meet up again. Tomorrow night." I nod, absorbing the betrayal anew. "Keep on it," I say, my voice steady despite the storm inside. As I leave, my phone vibrates. It's a text from Sarah, "We need to talk. Please come home." I ignore the message, my mind racing with plans. This was no longer just about uncovering the truth. It was about setting things right, or at least, setting them even. The night air feels colder as I walk, the city's noise fading into a backdrop for my calculated revenge. The morning drags on with the weight of the impending showdown. I can't focus on my work, the screen before me blurring as scenarios play out in my mind. By mid-afternoon, I've made my decision. It's time to confront them, together. I leave the office early, ignoring Linda's concerned gaze and Sarah's repeated calls and texts. I drive straight to the cafe where Mike said they'd meet, my hands gripping the steering wheel tight enough to make my knuckles white. As I park across the street, I spot them through the cafe's large window. There they are, Sarah and Tom, laughing over coffee, seemingly in their own little world. The sight fuels a fire within me, and I step out of the car, my steps determined and heavy. I push through the cafe door, the bell chiming loudly above me, drawing a few curious glances, including theirs. Sarah's face drains of color as she sees me, her eyes wide with shock. Tom turns, his posture stiffening. "Jack!" Sarah gasps, standing up so quickly her chair screeches against the floor. "We need to talk," I say, my voice calm but carrying an edge that makes a nearby waiter pause mid-step. "Jack, please," Let's not do this here, Sarah pleads, looking around at the few patrons who are now pretending not to watch. No, I think here is perfect. Public enough to keep things civilized, I reply, locking eyes with Tom, who looks like he's bracing for a storm. Jack, I'm sorry you found out this way, but, Tom starts, but I cut him off. Save it. I know everything. I've seen the photos, heard the conversations. How long, Tom? How long have you two been sneaking around behind my back? It's not like that, Jack. It just happened, Tom tries to explain, his voice shaky. Just happened? I scoff, my laugh bitter. You expect me to believe that? Sarah reaches out, her hand trembling. Jack, please, can we discuss this somewhere private? No. You wanted him, you got him. Now I want the truth, out in the open. Just like this, I snap, gesturing to the space between us. The cafe is silent now, the tension palpable. Sarah looks around, embarrassed, then back at me, her eyes pleading. It was never meant to hurt you. I thought he never wanted me. I was wrong, and by the time I realized, I didn't know how to fix things. So you lied. To both of us, Tom interjects, looking at Sarah with a mixture of pain and disbelief. Yes, I lied. Because I was scared of losing what I had with you, Jack, and what I could have with Tom, Sarah cries out, her voice breaking. I shake my head, the anger mingling with a piercing hurt. You could have had a divorce. You could have been honest. But you chose this path instead. Tom stands up, facing me directly now. What do you want from us, Jack? I stare at them both, the fury and hurt battling inside me. I want a divorce, Sarah. And Tom, stay away from me. If you had any respect for what we once shared as friends, you'll respect that. Sarah nods, tears streaming down her face, while Tom looks down, ashamed. I turn and walk out, leaving them behind in the stunned silence of the cafe. The cool air hits me as I step outside, and I feel a hollow victory. The confrontation did nothing to heal the wounds, but it was a necessary step towards ending this chapter of my life. As I drive away, the city blurs around me, each streetlight a reminder of the path I must now forge alone. The days that follow are a blur of formalities, lawyers, papers, and cold, detached meetings. The house feels emptier, the silence louder than any argument we ever had. I move through the motions, signing away the life we had built together. Yet, amidst the chaos, a nagging doubt lingers, fueled by the look in Sarah's eyes during our last confrontation, a mixture of fear and something unspoken. 2 weeks after the cafe incident, I meet with Mike for what I intend to be the last time regarding Sarah and Tom. We sit in the same dimly lit corner of the bar where we had first plotted. Got the final report for you, Jack, Mike says, sliding a folder across the table. His voice is somber, his usual professional detachment gone. I open the folder, expecting more of the same, photos, messages, but instead, I find a series of bank statements and a note written in Sarah's hand. Confusion clouds my understanding as I scan the documents. What's this, Mike? Take a look at the transactions, Mike suggests, pointing to a series of withdrawals and deposits that don't make sense. The amounts are significant, and the name on one of the accounts isn't Tom's, it's a company I've never heard of, linked back to a private account in Sarah's name. My brow furrows as I read the accompanying note, Sarah's neat script spelling out words that feel like a punch to the gut. If you're reading this, then I'm sorry, for everything. The truth is more painful than the lies. I wasn't just meeting Tom, I was planning our escape, not from you, but from something else. Please understand, this was never about us, it was about keeping you safe. I hope one day you'll see that. Safe? Safe from what? I murmur, my voice barely above a whisper. That's not all, Mike says, And he pulls out his phone, showing me a photo of Sarah and Tom at a nondescript office building, entering together. I followed them yesterday, ended up here. Where is this? I ask, struggling to keep up. It's linked to a corporation known for its less-than legal activities, mainly money laundering and worse. The company on the bank statements. It's a front. Tom's been under investigation for a while now, not for affairs, but for financial fraud. And Sarah? My heart races, the implications dawning on me. Caught up in it, maybe deeper than just caught. I don't know if she's a willing participant or not, but she's involved, Mike concludes, his eyes not hiding his pity. The world tilts as I absorb his words. Betrayal burns, not just from a spouse's infidelity but from a deception so deep it threatened more than just our marriage. I leave the bar with a heavy heart. The drive home is automatic, my mind reeling from the revelations. When I arrive, the house is dark, Sarah's presence a ghost in the hallways. I go to the study, a room she rarely entered, and begin to search. Hidden in a locked drawer, I find more documents, plans for a new life, and letters never sent to me. The final piece falls into place later that night when I receive a call from an unknown number. It's Sarah, her voice urgent. Jack, you need to listen to me. I never wanted to hurt you. It was all to protect you from getting involved. Tom's into some dangerous stuff, and I couldn't drag you into it. Why should I believe any of this? I demand, the hurt raw in my voice. Because you're in danger now, too. They know Mike's been snooping around. You need to leave, Jack. Please, for your safety. I hang up, the line going dead with a click that echoes in the empty room. The truth is too much, a twisted knot of lies and genuine fear. I pack a bag, the weight of my old life lifting with each step I take away from the life I thought I knew. Months later, as I start anew, far from the city's lights and the shadows of my past, the hatred remains, but so does a grudging gratitude. Sarah's deception saved me, even as it tore us apart. We never speak again, the love we had overshadowed by the dark curtain of her secrets. The intrigue of our marriage, built on trust, ends not with reconciliation, but with escape, each of us alone, forever changed.